Hello, and welcome back to the Determined Student channel. As always, I really appreciate you stopping by and watching this video. It really means a lot to me, and I hope to continue to hear back for additional feedback on what I can improve on. But in this case, what I'm going to talk about is virtues. So what is a virtue? A virtue is, by definition, it is a behavior of showing high moral standards. So the reason why I want to talk about it is usually we tend to see a lot of people who tend to be very virtuous. And we usually, at least from my perspective, what I used to believe is that it was, that they had this talented or gifted ability to be patient, or they were born brave, or or they're constantly kind, and they just have this gift of exuding kindness. But in reality, most of the virtues, or if actually not most, all of them are practiced. Nobody's actually born with a virtue. And same goes with vices. Nobody's really born with particular vices. But yeah, essentially, since nobody's born with them, what that actually means is that people over time have practiced to be virtuous, or they exude patience, or they're always just and fair, or they're constantly persistent. It is something that is constantly practiced, and they continue to get better each time they do it. So when I heard about that, that was actually really insightful, and actually gave me hope that I can learn how to do that too. And if I can learn it, of course anyone can really learn it. So I strongly believe that it is something that I want to work towards myself, and I would also encourage others to do the same. Because if we can all work together and be more virtuous and kind to one another, we can slowly but surely make the world a better place. And we learn to forgive each other, and we learn to grow and to love each other. So how do you practice a virtue? Well, it just depends on the virtue you want to focus on. So say, for example, if you want to be patient, the next time you notice yourself that you have that urge or that desire to get angry because something is taking too long, the internet's taking too long to load, or you've been waiting in line for a long time at the bank or at the grocery store, and you're slowly starting to get to the boiling point that you just want to shout or get angry. I know that this can be difficult, but if you try to slowly practice to catch yourself before that happens, and you can catch that urge to want to yell or shout or complain, try to notice that feeling. And if you bring awareness to it, and you if you bring awareness to it, and you understand that you're getting to the point that you're going to lose your patience, that's already more than half the battle there. Because just by acknowledging it, you're able to make a more controlled decision, and by doing so, it increases your odds of practicing patience. And then the same thing can work for bravery. For example, somebody who is constantly afraid, cowardness. So if you want to get braver at something, what you want to do is try to note, again, similar to patience, you want to notice yourself that if you're constantly avoiding something, and that particular something is something that you continuously avoid, you might want to ask yourself, why are you avoiding it? Is it because you don't like doing that thing? If that's the case, then it's not necessarily you being afraid. It just simply means that you just don't enjoy doing whatever it is. Or if it's not that, it could be a few other reasons. But if you start to notice your thoughts, maybe it could be because you're afraid of something. You're afraid of confronting whatever it is. And again, if you bring awareness to it and you realize, oh, I might actually be afraid of some particular thing, depending on what the fear is, of course, I wouldn't like recommend trying to like do something that would like endanger your life or your mental well-being, or can potentially like bring harm to you or someone else. But I would just like, start working on smaller things. Like, for example, some people can be afraid of dogs. And why that is probably because they had a, you know, well, actually, it could just be for multiple reasons. Whatever the reason may be, the end result is that this person's afraid of a dog. So, what you can do instead is to try to like educate yourself and try to understand that sometimes that fear is legitimate, because if you confront a dog that's strange, then we don't know what that dog's going to do. They might bite. But if it's a dog that's well behaved and taken care of by their owner, then, again, there's no guarantees. They may bite, because there's been stories and instances where like the owner would say, oh, my pet never bites, but then for whatever reason it ends up doing so. But if you notice the dog acting fine and they're behaving well and they seem playful, and you can tell by their body language that they are comfortable and they don't have like a body language of anxiety or a body language of like that they feel that they're in danger, and they're confronting you to like want to get pet, maybe you can try to like practice that bravery and try to overcome that fear and try petting them. But that's just one example. There could be an exuberant. There could be multiple examples. It just depends on what you're afraid of. You can also be afraid of heights. You can be afraid of, whatever your fear may be. And if you can ask yourself, would I be better off overcoming that fear? Then I would suggest you work on it and to try to get better at it. There could also be fears of public speaking or fears of failure. Like those particular type of fears, I would encourage everybody to try to get better at, because those are like fears of failure or fears of rejection, thinking that we're not good enough or that we're unable to accomplish a task or a goal. Those are things that we should try to work on the most, because if we can't get over that fear, we'll never improve. And if we don't improve, we'll just stay where we are. So, just notice yourself. Notice the next time you're afraid of something. And again, if the fear is legitimate and it's for good reason why you should be afraid, because you might get hurt, then, then you don't have to be brave in those particular cases unless it's absolutely necessary for your survival and so on. But when it comes to like other concepts, like, trying to like improve yourself, I would definitely encourage everybody to try to catch themselves when they're avoiding something and to try to overcome that fear. A few other things that I can list off is, integrity. There's perseverance. For integrity, the reason why that virtue is important is because it builds trust with people. And it shows that you are who you say you are. So if you say you're a particular way or you have particular beliefs, do you act the same way when that person is there to witness it? Or do you act the same way when no one's there to witness it? Or, at least the people that know who you are aren't there to witness it. That's another virtue that, we should all work on. Perseverance is another one, because that is an important virtue, because we all want to just give in the moment something is uncomfortable, or we tried once and then we just want to give up because it's hard, it hurts, and it's hard to lose. But if we can try to improve on that, then we can learn from our mistakes and get better. So with that one, just notice the urges and catch yourself. And if you notice that you want to quit, just try to push yourself a little more. Don't push yourself too hard, of course, because if you do it too much too soon, then you're not going to really get anywhere, because you're pushing yourself too hard. It's important just to pace yourself. For kindness, you know, just don't give in to the urge of being rude to people. Notice yourself when it's about to happen. And if somebody's being rude to you, then, you know, it's very difficult to do this. And I wouldn't expect this from people, but I would encourage people at least to try to be kind right back if people are treating you unkindly. And then for justice, you know, you don't want to take advantage of people. And for integrity, what I would recommend is just not to give in to the urge of lying. And just try to be your best self and be honest. You know, when it's appropriate, of course. You know, so long as it's not endangering someone else, then be truthful and honest, because that shows character, and it also shows who you really are, and it builds trust. And for determination, I would recommend not to give in to the urge of giving up on your goals or your desires or your dreams, and just instead remind yourself why you want to, and remind yourself why you want to make it to your goals and dreams and desires, and the reasons why you want to continue on and push yourself until they come true. You know, just always remind yourself, this is why I want to do this, because I want to get better at a skill, or I want to get better at building projects, or I want to get better at building my business, or I want to get better at whatever goals or aspirations you have. You know, you try to remind yourself before you give up, and try to catch yourself if you have that urge to give up, to just remind yourself of your goals and why you do what you do, because you know that once you accomplish them, you'll feel more fulfilled and happy. But yeah, just to summarize, I just wanted to mention that no one's really born with virtues. You can think of anybody, like your favorite role models, your heroes, your parents, your siblings, your friends. All of them needed to build their virtue. And all of them were tested. They were tested to try not to practice those virtues. But for the people you look up to, they overcame that and grew stronger and better, because they decided to be virtuous as opposed to giving in to a vice. So I just want to offer encouragement to everyone out there that we can all strive to be better and be the better versions of ourselves. Just understand that when I say when you improve on virtues, I'm not saying that you have to change your personality. You can still be yourself. You can still enjoy the things that you like. But when you have virtues, then you are a positive force and a positive person to other people. And they will like you more for that. And it'll make the world a better place if we can all, you know, practice virtues with one another, with the environment, the world, animals, and practice virtues upon ourselves, you know, to try to be patient on ourselves and kind, and to learn to forgive ourselves. But that's essentially what I wanted to talk about. Virtues are something that I still have to work on every day. I'm by no means perfect. I do good on some things some of the time, and then I do good on other virtues some of the other times, but it's not always 100%, so don't beat yourself up if you're not 100% virtuous. Life is always going to teach us new lessons, and we're going to make mistakes, but the important thing is to try to learn from them and to grow, and to learn to forgive other people, and to forgive ourselves. And, you know, just try to do our best to leave a positive impact on the world. That's essentially what I wanted to. That's essentially what I wanted to talk about. So I appreciate you stopping by and hearing me out. Again, I'm ultimately just a student. I'm not a teacher or a master in anything I look into. But if there is something that I want to incorporate in my life and I think it's worth sharing with others, then I'll definitely continue to do that and post it on here. So if you like this video, give it a like. leave a comment so that way you can like share your insights and inputs of what you thought of the video, and as well as your perspective of what you think about virtues. And share the video with other people if you think it can somehow benefit someone else. You know, I I can definitely use all the support I can get because I'm still trying to build my channel. So if you like, comment, and subscribe, I'm sure you heard it from thousands of YouTubers, and I'm sure they all mean it, that it's greatly appreciated because it brings more awareness. And my main goal is to try to help and inspire as many people as I can. So I would really appreciate it. Well, anyway, I will post another video soon.